everybody, Rosematter here. Welcome to part 10 and the finale to chapter 1, Higurashi, When They Cry. So I am recording this intro after I've already finished because I got so invested in the last bit that I played the last 3 hours in one go. So if you guys think the story has been crazy up until now, you ain't seen nothing yet. So I hope you enjoy my reactions to the insanity that is the finale of this chapter. And we will be picking up with chapter 2 as, the same schedule. So on the Friday, I will be starting the next chapter. And there is a bonus section of this chapter that I will be releasing probably middle of next week. So keep an eye out for that. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy the finale to this chapter. And thank you for watching up until now.
よく映画などに登場しますが、簡単に言うとどのようなものでしょうか。
複数の人格を持つことによる逃避と考えられています。
多重人格は逃避の一つなのですか？
さようです。そのメカニズムは完全には解明されていませんが、精神を守るために脳が行う防御行動の一つではないかと考えられています。
例えば貧乏な人がお金持ちになった自分を想像するという現実逃避ってありますよね。これも多重人格なわけですか？
極論はできませんが、講義的にはそう解釈できます。つまり誰にでもあり得る現象なのです。
その現実逃避の見境がなくなると二重人格になるのですか？
ちょっと難しいですね。そう提唱する説もありますし、否定する説もあります。諸説紛々です。
では精神医学の世界ではまだ多重人格というのは未知の解明されていない現象なんですか？
残念ながらそうなります。今後の研究が期待されます。
でも二重人格なんてなんだかかっこいいですよね。どういう人が二重人格になれるんですか？
なれると言いますか、なりやすいと言いますか。最近の研究では遺伝と死因が複雑に絡み合い、中でも幼少期の育児体験が大きく作用するのではないかと言われています。
そういえばこの A 君も家庭に問題を抱えてるんですよね。気の毒に。7つの人格を持つ青年 A。 では VTR の続きをどうぞ。ですがその前にコマーシャル。
Well, that was interesting. I wonder who they're talking about. The person with 7 split personalities, and then, the idea of someone having a split personality potentially being abused as a child. I wonder if that's maybe a reference to, well, I'm still not quite sure what's going on with Rena, but I don't want to infer anything. Alright, here's the one that was interesting to me. So maybe this is from Rena's point of view when she was stalking Keiichi. The 7th Mart was a bargain supermarket with food and alcohol. What's this, Keiichi? So many. There's no reason to get all the different kinds, is there? I flopped all the different colored cup noodles into the cart.
最近のカップ麺は凝ってて種類も多いんだよ。どれも一通りは食ってみたいし。
I knew it was pretty selfish of me, but I thought I'd at least give it a try. Keiichi, buy them in the big case. It's cheaper. Oh, I wonder why they don't have the voices of the parents. Dad faltered. Well, I had a feeling it would end up like this. Now that Dad had thrown his hat into the ring, I'd have to compromise.
それじゃあ一種類しか食えないよ。飽きちゃうって。
I was resisting as a formality. I had already given up inside and wasn't sure which case of noodles to get. If you can't pick, then Mummy will pick for you. You don't have to rush me. I quickly searched the case of noodles for what I want. Pork bun and ginger, large cup? Keiichi, can't you get a more normal one? If I let Mom pick, she'd err on the side of safety and get soy sauce or salt flavored. So when I plunked a large box of pork bone flavor in the shopping cart, Mom looked back at me with an expression as if to say, "These ones?" To show her this was my last compromise, I began explaining the choice.
豚骨はうまいんだよ。大盛りだけど大味ってわけじゃないし。
I remembered insisting that the noodles I picked were the right kind. Ooh, here we go. In this frozen memory in time, this encapsulated world, I didn't have the power to look around my surroundings. So I did what I could and reached out with my hearing and vision, sharpening my senses to find the presence I overlooked. No matter how much I searched through my field of vision, I couldn't see Rena. I rewound the situation, searching. But of course, I couldn't find her. Then, was she spying at me from my blind spot? I go through the sound and presence again, looking. I could sense the other customers. They were all mixed about, moving as they please. There was nobody looking over this way, and no one trying to get behind me. Not here. Couldn't be here. Probably wasn't here. I would definitely notice if someone was right behind me, even when I wasn't on my guard. I smiled wryly at the thought of using a vague word like probably right before contradicting it with definitely. Ooh. Don't like that sound effect. Then I paused my mental replay as a chill ran down my spine. There was definitely a presence like a shadow behind me. That was a terror unlike any other. If a presence really had manifested behind me, I would definitely have turned around to check for it. But the world had moved on, and there was no way for me to turn around. While carrying that frightening shadow on my back, I was gleefully running around the store searching for a case of noodles. Running through the instant noodles section, bad-mouthing my mom. But there was that presence constantly at my back, sticking to me like a shadow. No way to see what it was. Realizing it now after the fact was horrifying and repulsive. In that moment of time, I was running around gleefully, carrying that cardboard box. Tip-tap. But listening to that moment again, I could hear footsteps other than mine go pit-pat with every step. Tip-tap, tip-tap, tip-tap. Pit-pat, pit-pat, pit-pat. Tip-tap, tip-tap. Pit-pat, pit-pat. Okay, I'm not going to keep doing... Okay, it's the same things over and over. Sorry, I don't want to just keep saying that over and over again. While I was running, the sound of those barefoot footsteps going pit-pat were right behind mine. Me running around gleefully in that closed-off moment in time. But I didn't hear it. No, I heard it. That's why I remembered it. I didn't think I had heard anything. That's why I didn't turn around. That is why I didn't turn around. In that moment, the pit-pat of those footsteps were following me the entire time. I couldn't run faster and escape. I couldn't run any faster than I had ran at that time. I couldn't turn around. I hadn't turned around before, not once. Then I returned to my parents and started talking. The shadow-like presence was right at my back. Since I didn't move, the shadow didn't move. That is why it made no sound. That was all. At that time, I hadn't taken a single step while talking with my parents. I was just standing there. This was undeniable. And yet, I heard it. A pit-pat. That shouldn't be. If I took 3 steps, it followed 3 steps. Wasn't that the rule? There was no sound other than that. At that time, the entire world had gone dark. A sudden darkness. It was the end of my reflective journey. I was tired. I wanted to end it. Someone turn on the light. Except my body couldn't move. As if I was sewn into that moment in time. Pit-pat. My past self's hair stood on end. That's impossible. Now that's just breaking the rules. I haven't moved. So you shouldn't be moving either. I couldn't move. So you shouldn't be able to move either. Follow the rules. Pit-pat. Yet that sound echoed in the darkness once again. The hair on the back of my neck pricked up on end. It was so close that it was hard to tell whether it was touching the hair or not. Why couldn't I move? Like how the presence was moving behind me. It's almost like he's, what are they called when you have the dreams, basically, where your body's locked in, and it feels really just so real, and you can see things happening. It's not like a lucid dream. It's like locked in syndrome, but it's a term for like when you're having these very lucid dreams, but your body can't move, but everything feels so real. Oh, that's really bothering me. It's on the tip of my tongue and I can't remember what it's called. I quickly realized I can move. It's just that I was scared and didn't want to. But now was the only time I could turn around. Please no jump scare. Please no jump scare. It was something unforgivable in this moment in time. But I needed to turn around immediately. As if my entire being was trying to force me to stop. It began to administer a pain like a needle being stuck into my every pore. I'll turn around. I'll turn around. I'm not scared at all. I'll turn around. I'll turn around. I'm not scared at all. A scream I was unable to vocalize. Raw. I turned around. At first, I couldn't understand the meaning of it. What is this? Just as a person's mouth might bite into an apple, slurp the juices, and finally discover it was an apple. My mind began to process the scene before my eyes by eating the apple. Munch, munch, chew, chew. Slurp the juices and discover the apple. I don't like that. That's kind of creepy. Meaning, what was in front of me was... hate that. Hate that. Oh, come on. Dang. Alright. Alright. So, during all that time, I was thinking maybe the talk about the split personality, it could be a red herring, but maybe it has something not with necessarily with Rena, but maybe Keiichi? Maybe he's starting to kind of have these moments where he's like normal relatively, and then he kind of snaps and goes a little nuts. Alright, anyway, back to the regular story. I guess I'd be lying if I said I didn't get any sleep. I tried to stay awake all night, but there were definitely gaps in my memory. I guess I kept nodding off and jerking awake in a panic all night. I spent all night hugging the metal bat and sat on top of the futon I used to barricade my door. Waiting, watching just in case someone tried to break in through my window. If I left this spot, someone would break through the door, sending the futon flying, and attack me. But if I stopped watching the window, someone would break through the glass and attack me. I tried telling myself I was just being paranoid, but I couldn't sleep. The thought of being so vulnerable scared the living daylights out of me. I think I mentioned this before, but like, he's just getting more and more sleep deprived, which is definitely not helping with like the feelings of paranoia and everything. If sleep meant taking that risk, I didn't need it. And he's just gonna like devolve more and more into kind of insanity, just like if he just keeps not being able to sleep. It was so much better to just stay awake. At some point during that endless cycle of nodding off and jolting awake, light began to shine outside, but that was it. It wasn't so much the morning as it was just the sun simply having risen. I snuck a peek out through the curtains. Rena was gone. I couldn't see her anywhere, no matter how hard I looked. Finally, I could breathe a deep sigh of relief. The night was finally over. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't tired, but I didn't feel like sleeping at the moment. I still had time. But I needed to make my own breakfast, so I'd better get started soon. He goes downstairs and she's just left all the food on the table for him. She broke in somehow. Skipping school was also an option. With my mom gone, it would be easy to play hooky. Honestly, I debated it. The risk involved in leaving my house was incalculable. So staying holed up in here was probably my safest option. But staying here wouldn't solve anything. Uishi-san wouldn't help me without cold, hard evidence. Neither he nor my parents. So, unless I found some sort of proof, these relentless nights would never end. I stretched my body, tilted my head back, and closed my eyes, just like I did every morning. I regulated my breathing, and regained my senses. Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. Let's go to school. Let's wait until they set their trap for me. But that didn't mean I was just going to twiddle my thumbs. I needed to avoid that trap and secure irrefutable evidence. Take note of the plates of any car that drives by. If I see someone suspicious, check their clothes and face. I wasn't just protecting myself. I was preparing myself to turn their attack against them and retaliate. The tension was similar to when two samurai were both aiming to slay each other with a single motion as they drew their katanas. I was not at a disadvantage. I would have a chance to retaliate. I finally felt a bit of courage growing in my chest. All right, let's go to school. I tightened my grip on Satoshi's bat. He was the only partner I could count on. Satoshi, please lend me your strength. and entrust your dying regrets to me, since you were probably murdered. I'll make sure I dispel them. With renewed resolve, I checked the clock. It was still early. Of course, I was going to school by myself today. If I didn't want to run into Rena or Mion, I needed to leave now. The shattered fragments of the cupboard were still strewn all over the entryway. Right. I meant to clean that up last night, but never got around to it with the phone call and everything. My parents came back and saw this while I was at school. I would never hear the end of it. Still, I'd be wasting time if I cleaned it up right now. And considering what would happen if I ran into Rena or Mion, it wouldn't be too late to clean it up after I got back home. Making extra certain that the doors were locked, I left the house. My uniform was still covered in mud from yesterday, so I left it in the washer. Today I was going to school in a tracksuit. By wearing a different outfit this morning, my mind was forced to accept that today was different from yesterday. I had a hunch. Today might be the day I get killed. Well, I don't know about that, considering there's how many other chapters of this game, unless it somehow continues without Keiichi? Keep your guard up, Keiichi Maibara. The only one who gets to decide if today is my last, is me. I spent the morning practicing my swing like it was my natural routine. After a while, Rena arrived at school. Oh, that's gonna be awkward. Our eyes met, but we said nothing. Rena said nothing about last night, as if it never happened. But I could see that those events were real by the wounds carved into her fingers. I just heard her tell Sadako and the others that the bandages were from hurting herself in the kitchen. Though it wasn't like it bothered me. The details that Oishi-san shared about Rena's incident before her transfer played vividly in my mind. Now that I knew about it, I couldn't even dream of Rena as a cute, ideal girl. It was Mion. I had already sensed her approach, so I wasn't that surprised.
Mionか。わかってるなら放っておいてくれよ。
This is so sad. I miss how it used to be. Back at the beginning, I loved these guys all together being friends, and now it's just like, there's just this wedge between them, understandably, but...
俺は甲子園で忙しいんだ。
I gave her a curt reply without my usual jokes. Then I gave the bat an even larger swing, tactily keeping Mion from getting any closer.
ケイちゃんさ、ちょっと休憩。
I think Mion got the message, but she still urged me to give it a rest.
ホームルームまであとちょっとだろ。もう一汗かかせてくれよ。
I swung the bat even harder as a sign of my refusal.
ケイちゃんって野球好きだったっけ？
最近好きになった。
最近って昨日から？
分かってんなら聞くなよ。
あれまあ。スポーツマンにしては爽やかじゃないお返事だことで。
気が散る。放っておいてくれ。
I ignored Mion and kept swinging. It just stinks. Because, like, yeah, it's just her facial expressions are as normal. She seems normal. I just don't know what to think. Normally she'd get mad or bored and leave if someone gave her the cold shoulder like this. But Mion just stood there, waiting patiently for me to stop swinging. I didn't sense any hostility. But we were at school, in plain view. I doubt she'd suddenly attack me here. Or was that too naive? Still, I was starting to get tired. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad to take a break and hear her out.
何か用なんだろう。なんだよ。
Sweat poured from me as I stopped swinging. I noticed my shoulders were heaving as I breathed. I cursed my lack of exercise. At this rate, I might not be able to move as needed when the time came. I should probably keep practicing my swings to build stamina, in addition to the excuse for carrying the bat around with me.
用ってわけでもないけどさ。お疲れのようなら後にするけど。
今でいい。
I'm only dealing with you right now because I judge the situation to be safe. Talking to you alone and away from the others? That's out of the question.
さ、
Mion was uncharacteristically trying to choose her words. But unlike Oishi-san, it didn't look like she was going to talk about something I'd rather not hear. Mion was puzzled, trying to find the right thing to say. But then she gave a hearty laugh to break herself out of that mire.
おじさんダメだわ、こういうの。
Is she like, dude, I'm worried about you. Like, you're acting weird.
辛いわ。
なんだよ突然。言いたいことがあるならはっきりと言えよ。
やめてよ。素振り。
She cut straight to the point. Her request was so frank, I didn't understand it for a moment. I had already stopped swinging to listen to her, hadn't I?
ちゃんとやめてるだろ。
Oh, is it because of Satoshi? It's like the same thing. They're like, this is what he was starting to do, and then something happened to him.
じゃなくて、今日で終わりにしてほしいの。悪いけど。
It took me some time to understand what she was asking for. What's wrong with swinging a bat?
なんでだよ。余計なお世話だよ。別に誰にも迷惑かけてないだろ。
かけてる。
Mion said it flat out. This didn't make any sense, and that was really irritating.
俺がいつ誰に迷惑をかけたよ。
Mion was at a loss for words, but she finally made up her mind and spoke, though she stuttered as she said it.
だってさ、ケイちゃん、それ、人のバットだしさ。無断借用は悪いし。
転校した生徒の忘れ物だろ。本人が取りに来るまで借りてるだけだよ。
ああ、まあね。
Okay.
転校したし。
I was thinking maybe she was going to give me some more information about that, but it was silly of me to assume so. Everyone talking about transferring. He transferred. Mion grew uncharacteristically flustered. That made it all too clear that his transfer was a lie.
でも変わってるよな。兄貴だけ転校なんだろ。妹は転校しなかったんだろ。
Mion couldn't hide a reaction as my words shook her up.
ケイちゃん、知ってたの？
北条聡。聡子の兄貴だろ。去年鬼隠しにあって消えた。
Oh damn. Oh damn, he calling her right out. He's like, Mion, you aren't the only one who knows everything. Unable to respond to that, Mion fell silent. Well, I don't know everything, but I know more than she thinks, so she thinks this old man knows everything? Well, she didn't know that I knew that.
レナにも言われた。なんで素振りを始めたのかってな。サトシもやってたんだってな。素振り。それも失踪の直前に。これってさ、
Uh-oh.
お社様のたたりに合う前兆ってわけなのか？
I feel like she's gonna snap on me. Like I feel like I'm cutting to something here. I'm bringing up stuff she doesn't want me to bring up. Mion panicked and looked around.
頼むよ、ケイちゃん。お社様の話は迂闊にしないでよ。私はそんなに信じてないからいいけどさ、他のみんなはすごく信じてる。レナなんかヤバいくらいに。
やばいくらいに？
とにかく、みんな怖がってるんだよ。もしもこれが悪ふざけならやめな。サトシの真似は絶対にやめて。
I was the one who was scared. Who do I have to thank for taking up this bat in the first place? But it still unsettled me knowing that my actions were overlapping with Satoshi's. It would be one thing if someone suggested it, but I thought I was making my own decisions.
先に言っとく。俺はサトシのことは何も知らない。みんなが隠してたからな。
隠してたってわけじゃ。
毎年起こる事件のことは隠してたろ。
Oh, he's back again. He's like he's calling her out. I'm surprised that Sadako herself hasn't said anything. Maybe they're trying to keep it from her that I'm using her missing brother's bat. I'm surprised she didn't say something about like, you know, if not for us, then for Sadako, can you please stop doing that?
それは、 ケイちゃんを。
怖がらせたくなかったってのか？それが理由で俺だけのけ者かよ。
いや、そんなつもりじゃ。
ミオンに直にダム現場で事件がなかったかって聞いたよな。ミオンはないって言ったじゃないか。バラバラ殺人があったのによ。嘘つき野郎。
ごめん、嘘ってわけじゃ。
仲間ってのは隠し事なんかなしだろ。そうだろ。じゃあお前らは仲間じゃない。
ケイちゃん、そんなのって。
No, I don't know if she's just like playing this up or if she's legitimately hurt by that. Mion looked helpless and flustered. Was I imagining the tears in her eyes? Like, from her perspective, he's just going nuts. And then from my perspective, they're all like planning to do something to me. I never could have imagined Mion acting like this.
ああ、それに先日の見舞いのおはぎ。
Oh.
うまかったぜ。血が出るかと思った。
Oh my god, he is just laying it all out on the table right
や
now.
ったのはどっちだ？お前か、レナか。
私。
She admitted it. She admitted it so easily. I couldn't help but be surprised at how easy that was.
死ぬかもしれなかったんだぞ。仲間にあんな真似をするのかよ。
そんな。ちょっとしたいたずらじゃん。
What the fuck, Mion? That is not a prank. Mion gave me a wry smile mixed with confusion, causing even more anger to well up inside me.
あれがいたずらで済むかよ。
Oh, I'm wondering if it even... Maybe it wasn't... Maybe... Oh god, I'm just like... I'm just like, was it actually a needle? Did he imagine it was a needle and maybe it wasn't something so dangerous? Maybe she put something in there, but it wasn't actually a needle, but... Because, like, why would she admit that so readily? Like, that was attempted... That was... I wouldn't say attempted murder. But, like, that's something I could go to the police for. I grabbed Mion by the collar and lifted her up. That wasn't the same as putting Tabasco sauce in a piece of mochi. It was a needle. A sewing needle. I'm sorry if I'm, like, rambling, guys. Like, I just can't believe that she just straight up was like, I did it. If I had swallowed that and it lodged in my throat, what did she think would happen? Mion's face froze as her body rattled in fear. This wasn't the Mion's Sonozaki I knew anymore.
とにかく、お前は仲間じゃない。仲間じゃない奴の指図は受ける言われはない。俺のことは当分放っておいてもらうぜ。いいな。
Mion wasn't replying anymore.
俺を消そうとしても簡単にはいかないからな。お前らは最初から警察に疑わ
Oh,
れてんだ。
Jesus. Don't. Oh my god, Keiji, why would you say that? Oh, man. Like, okay. I know I've been talking about, like, I just want him to call them out on putting that needle in them, but why did he have to bring up the cops?
サトシを消せたように簡単に消せると思うなよ。
Oh, I feel like he just wrote his death wish right there. I said it clearly. This was my declaration of war.
俺も過去の事件はお前らが怪しいと思ってる。ダムの反対運動の時からお前が警察の世話になってたこともよく知ってる。隠しきれてると思うなよ。いいな。
どうしてそんなことまで。
Mion stood there with a dumbstruck look on her face. That was when I heard the principal ringing the bell for school. Well, this was going to be an awkward day at school. It was time for morning homeroom.
行こうぜ。委員長がいないとまずいだろう。
At that moment, for the first time, I realized Mion was sobbing as tears ran down her cheeks.
ひどいよ、ケイちゃん。
I wanted to console her, but I shut my mouth. I had no need to feel guilty.
俺、ホームルーム遅れるなよ。
I left Mion still shaking as I turned around to head for the entrance. Damn, was not expecting that. Well, it's all out in the open now. I had no idea how troubling it was to make a girl cry. Behind my back, I could hear her muttering. It was a faint mutter as she was speaking to herself. Oh no, she's saying, "Gomenasai, gomenasai." I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
そっか。
Oh, okay, never mind. Never mind. So I guess that was too much for me to expect.
え?
She wasn't even saying it to anyone. It was Mion talking to herself. But it was a sobbing voice that had a kind of giddy, cursing tone. I inadvertently stopped and turned back towards her. Oh!
ケイちゃんに全部バラしたの。あの野郎か。
That is creepy AF. Oh my goodness. She balled up her fists as her tears continued to rain down. She glared at a spot on the ground with a terrifying, yet smiling face, cursing. A chill ran down my spine from that demonic expression. This transformation, Mion's transformation, was different from Rena's.
あの時、
Oh!
殺しとくんだったな。今年で定年だからって。容赦してやった恩も忘れやがって。
Once again, is this Mion talking, or is this Oishiro? Retiring this year. Was she talking about Oishi-san?
ちくしょう。ちくしょう。あのじじい。絶対に殺してやる。
Good job, Keiichi. You probably just wrote... I talked about writing my death wish. You just wrote Oishi-san's. It's the whole, like, that joke about, like, oh, he was only 3 days from retirement and then he got killed. It felt like the air itself had begun distorting. With Mion at the center, the world had begun to twist and spiral. Bending, whirling. This was the first time I'd experienced such a visage. Mion made up an excuse for her red eyes by saying there was something wrong with her contacts. After that, neither Rena nor Mion spoke to me for the rest of the day. Neither Satoko nor Rika-chan looked me in the eye. Strangely, I didn't feel hurt. Everything had just gone back to the way it was. The month since I transferred in had been almost too much fun. That was all. School was supposed to be something like this to begin with. I should have disliked that feeling, but today it felt oddly refreshing. The bell rung, sounding the end of the monotonous school day, which had felt so tense yet so dull. Since it would cause a lot of unpleasant memories if they asked me to join in the club activities, I promptly started preparing to go home without even looking at them. Did you think that after all that they were going to ask you to play a game? Although, maybe they would, I don't know. I stuffed the contents of my desk into my bag, wrapped my hand around Satoshi's now familiar bat, and began heading towards the entrance. I was assailed by both the exhausting relief that nothing had happened today and the tiring possibility of the same thing repeating tomorrow. But deep down inside me, far beneath, in the recesses of my heart, achingly I knew, this would be the last day of this cycle. I couldn't tell how the ending would be, whether it would end as I wished it to end, or if it would end as I hoped it wouldn't. Regardless, in my current state, there was something more important than how things would end. There was something I wanted to know. Why did I have to be killed? How did it come to this? Why? For what purpose? The sunlight was relentless. The sun, the heat, even the air. They wouldn't give me my answers. Or could it be that the cries of the Higurashi were desperately trying to tell me something? Somewhere mixed in with their shrieks, Tomitake-san and Satoshi were also probably trying to tell me something. I simply haven't been able to realize it yet. When I do realize it, I wonder if I will be among the Higurashi, fruitlessly crying to the next victim. Glancing down at my feet, I saw a Higurashi on its back, spasming weakly. Bui, bui, bui. There was still much of the summer left, yet this one was already chirping its last song. I couldn't tell what it was saying, no matter how hard I listened. But I had to try. Oh no, now he's gonna be that crazy guy who talks to the Higurashi. I had to try and listen to what it was so desperately trying to tell me. At that moment, the shrills of the Higurashi ceased all at once. Oh no. Oh no, what's going to happen? As if they had huddled together, fearing that the person who'd brought them to their dreadful fate had arrived. There was no mistaking it. A presence was approaching. The sounds of footsteps were almost non-existent. If the Higurashi hadn't warned me by ending their chirping, I wouldn't have noticed. My exhaustion left me in heartbeat. In its place was a rush of adrenaline that sharpened all my senses. I was just barely able to hold back that creeping, suffocating feeling of horror. It wasn't something I could hold back for long. But in this moment, when I needed to be razor sharp, I was able to retain my composure. I wasn't going to shout like I did yesterday. I hid myself calmly amongst the trees, waiting for my pursuer's shadow. Could I get them to pass by me? No. Since I was able to hear their footsteps, they were probably also able to hear mine. They might have already been able to tell I'd hidden myself and was holding my breath. The person tailing me, was it Rena, just like yesterday? If it was Rena, I wouldn't hold back. I could just yell at her and make her go ahead like yesterday. If it wasn't Rena, it would depend on how they acted, I guess. The footsteps ambled closer. I swallowed, wiped my clammy hands on my pants, and readjusted the grip on the bat. I could tell that the fear I'd beaten back once was now waiting for another opening to come at me. Who could it be? I peeked out from behind the tree at the person following me. Oh, boy. My imagination hadn't led me astray. It was Rena. There was a bit of relief as I realized it was someone I knew, but that feeling left me in an instant. Yeah, she's not looking quite as, scared as she was yesterday. She's got, like, a purpose in her eyes. This wasn't the same Rena that I knew. Her eyes were dark and lifeless. But her mouth appeared as if it was carved into a crescent. Yes, it looked like she was grinning slightly. And in her right hand was a hatchet. Oh no, don't tell me he's already gonna die. What? Oh, I knew that hatchet was gonna come back. I knew it. I hid myself behind the tree once again and recalled the unbelievable sight I just saw. What was that just now? The embodiment of terror laid bare. Baseball, practicing my swing. There were tons of excuses for me to be carrying a bat. But for that hatchet? There was no excuse for that. A hatchet just like that?
ケイキくん、
Oh.
かくれんぼかな
My heart was pounding, hard enough that I had trouble breathing. What little composure I'd been able to hold on to was now crushed. In its place, cold sweat gushed forth, covering my entire body, letting me know precisely what kind of emotion had taken hold. Not good, not good, not good. I wasn't able to hide myself completely. She already knew I was here.
レナを驚かせようとしたのかな
I decided that it would be better to reveal myself now, since there was still space between us, than to allow Rena to come any closer. I adjusted my grip on the bat again, readied myself mentally, and stepped out from behind the tree. Oh, hi. Hi, that's creepy.
ケイチくん、見つけた
I don't like this. Rena was pleased she found me, eliciting a mysterious giggle. Her mouth was smiling, but her eyes told me she was displeased by the fact I had been hiding. Those eyes. They were just so empty. My legs began to quiver. Not good. In the pit of my stomach, some sort of viscous, hot, and cold substance began spreading around. If I allowed it, that substance would slip into my bloodstream and undoubtedly freeze all the organs in my body. Not good. Not good. I'll be devoured by Rena at this rate. Strike back. Don't lose.
何の用だよ
I blustered, hiding behind my bravado. But Rena didn't flinch one bit.
ケイチくんと同じ帰り道だよ
じゃあそのナタは何だよ
じゃあケイチくんのそのバットは何なのかな
俺は素振りで
じゃあレナは宝探しなの
Rena gave a flippant explanation as to why she had such a fearsome weapon.
宝探し
ダム現場の宝の山にねまた新しいかいいのを見つけたのだからねそれを発掘するために必要なの
信じるかよそんなの
信じないよね
Yeah. Rena's laugh was obviously very strange. I'd seen Rena's transformation many times before, but the one today was completely different. Like her mischievous tone and the shrewd glint in her eyes. It wasn't something that roundabout. I'm not sure what to say. It was just so obvious.
待ってよケイチくん
Rena didn't stop walking, even as she let out that eerie laugh. Whenever Rena got too close to me, I would scurry away and turn back towards her. The cycle repeated over and over. God, that's so creepy. Like, he's out in the open. I'm assuming there's people around, but, like, there's not really anyone that he can go and tell, like, hey, she's trying to kill me, because they're going to think I'm crazy. No matter how you looked at it, I was being chased by Rena and was trying to escape. And the worst part is my parents are probably not home yet, so I'm all by myself.
ついてくるなよ。
それはできない相談だよ。レナの家もこっちだもん。
When I met with Rena on this road yesterday, she cowered and trembled as she followed my commands. But today was different. Rena didn't show a hint of trepidation. Actually, wasn't I the one who was cowering? The way home for Rena and me was the same. That's fine. I'd just change my route. That would work out, wouldn't it? Oh no. I turned onto a side street I'd never been down and knew little about. Oh, hi! But Rena saw me do that and followed me while laughing. Why? Why? Aren't you going home? Then just go home down the street you normally do. Why would you follow me down this weird little side road? And now he's isolating himself in an area that he doesn't know well. Those thoughts screamed in my head, eventually spilling out of my mouth.
どうしてついてくるんだよ。
The tone of my voice was already tinged with terror.
ケイチ君とお話ししたいから。ケイチ君もレナとお話ししたいんじゃないかな。
俺は何も話したいことなんかない。
嘘だよね。相談したいこときっとあるはずだよ。
ない。レナと話すことなんか何もないよ。
嘘だよね。
嘘じゃないよ。
Rena's scream echoed, startling some nearby birds into flight. I cringed in fear. The only other thing I could do was increase my pace.
お話ししようよ。
This is horrifying.
お話。
Why was I running down this unfamiliar and deserted street? Dude, you... Oh, god damn it.
ケイチ君には悩んでることがあるんじゃないかな。
ないよ。何にも悩んでない。
嘘だ。
Even though I was running, even though Rena was walking, why wasn't I getting any farther away?
わかるよ。わかる。レナはわかるよ。怖いんだよね、ケイチ君。
Yeah, just a bit.
怖くなんかない。何も怖いことなんか。
嘘だ。
Oh god, just the way she yells at him and then laughs. I hate this. I hate this. My breathing grew heavy and it felt like my legs were giving out from beneath me. Like, is she gonna kill him already in the first chapter? Rena wasn't even breaking a sweat.
レナだけは相談に乗ってあげられるよ。今度こそ乗ってあげられる。
I had no idea what she was talking about or what exactly she wanted to do.
今度こそ相談に乗ってあげられる。サトシ君の時とは違うもの。
Oh, okay. When she said Satoshi's name, I turned back for a moment. But even as I did that, Rena was still advancing. I couldn't afford to stop.
サトシ君も悩んでた。辛そうだった。でもレナは相談に乗ってあげられなかった。とても悲しかった。
Where did this street connect to? All these twists and turns, up and downs? It was hard to believe that this was even remotely in the direction toward my house. My sense of direction had long since gone out the window.
サトシ君が転校しちゃった時ね、本当に後悔したんだよ。レナが相談に乗ってあげれば、サトシ君は転校せずに済んだかもしれないって、すごく後悔した。
Oh no, dude. Oh, like he's not even anywhere near civilization right now. The road led me deeper into the forest. Wasn't I getting farther away from the village the more I ran? I lost more and more of my composure the more I thought about it. But despite this realization, my inner self was still disturbingly calm.
だからね、誓ったの。もしもサトシ君みたいに苦しんでる人にもう一度会えたなら、レナが助けてあげようって。もう人が転校するところは見たくないな。
Damn it! What does transfer even mean? I won't let you transfer me. I won't end up the same as Satoshi.
さあ、ケイチ君、レナに話して。レナはきっとケイチ君を理解してあげられるよ。レナだけはケイチ君の味方。
I started wheezing, out of breath. My lungs were so hot that they felt like they were going to explode, and my heart was beating as hard as it possibly could. I should have practiced running instead of my swing. I couldn't even afford to scoff at that stupid thought.
悩みがなくなれば、きっとケイチ君も元通り。みんなとも仲良しに戻れて、また楽しく部活ができるよ。今度は一緒に組んで、みーちゃんをやっつけようね。
Yeah, how much fun that would be. I was just thinking, I'm like, I miss that. I miss when we were friends and just playing games. Rena couldn't even imagine how much I wished I could turn back the clock on these past few days.
レナともきっと仲良しに戻れるよ。また一緒に宝探しに行きたいね。今度はお弁当も作っていくよ。なんなら今から宝探しでもいいよ。行こうよ、一緒にダム現場。見つけたばかりの可愛いの、ケイチ君にも見せてあげるね。きっとケイチ君も気に入るよ。
When she said cute thing before, the first thing I thought was like she found a body or something dead. My footsteps made pathetic flapping sounds as my legs wobbled and faltered. Hot on my heels, Rena's steps were sharply breaking twigs underfoot. I had to accept it. I was on the run, being chased by Rena. She caught me. It was all over. I realized it instinctively. I couldn't even begin to think of what the end would entail. Just that if I was caught, it was all over. That's all I knew. It didn't matter how it was going to end. I wouldn't let it end. Not without knowing anything. Not yet. That momentary lapse was all it took. Of all the things that could have happened, my knees buckled underneath me, and I crumbled towards the ground. I tried to stand frantically, urging my legs to respond. I used my bat as a makeshift cane to prop myself up, but Rena was already standing right in front of me. Compared to me, out of breath and utterly exhausted, Rena was so cool and composed she could have frozen the air around her. She wasn't breathing hard at all. Rather, I couldn't even sense if her heart was beating.
何が怖いのかな。怯えるなんてケイチ君らしくないよ。
Her expression looked almost affectionate. Those soulless eyes, that mask of affection. As she admonished me for trembling, Rena's hands deftly slipped over her head. Oh no. The blur of arms as they moved made me feel as if I was staring at the godliness of the thousand-armed Buddha. Then as both her hands met above her head, the hatchet that she held came into focus. No way! They are not going to do this in the first chapter! I stared up at it in disbelief. It was all I could do.
教えてくれ。サトシはどうなったんだよ。
Rena stayed like that, with that hatchet raised above her head, and solemnly opened her mouth. It was as if she was expressing a farewell to a friend she was never to see again. That cruel scenario resided somewhere in her actions.
言ったよ。
He transferred.
サトシ君は転校したの。
その転校ってのをやめろよ。鬼隠しってことなんだろ。そうだろ。もう教えてくれたっていいだろ。サトシを消したのは誰だよ。エラかミオンか、それとも村の誰かが。答えろよ。
I became frantic the more I screamed, but Rena did nothing but maintain the smile frozen on her face.
ケイチ君が何を言ってるかわからないな。
じゃあ分かるように言ってやる。連続開始事件の犯人は誰だ。
ケイチ君は勘違いしてるよ。
え？
Oh.
人間の犯人なんかいない。すべてはお社様が決めることだもの。
Yeah, of course Rena would say that.
お社様のたたりなんて迷信だろ。レナは信じてるってのか。
dude, do you not remember about the whole thing with her, you know, the windows and saying it was Oyashiro-sama?
信じるとか信じないとかじゃない。お社様はいるの。
Oh, Rena's gaze grew even more gelid. The ferocity of her stare was so intense, not allowing me to question anything.
お社様なんているわけが。
圭一君は信じないの？お社様。
信じられるはずないだろ。そんなのいるわけがない。
いるよ。
I feel like that was the wrong answer.
お社様。圭一君だって身近に感じてるはずだよ。
そんなもの感じたことないよ。
圭一君さ、誰かに謝られたことない？それもずっと。
All noise from the outside world disappeared. Only Rena's voice resounded, loudly and terribly.
それはね、許してもらえるまでずっとついてくるの。
Oh my gosh, I just realized, like, at the very first episode, when he was, like, first coming to Hinamizawa, he heard... Wasn't there someone he said he heard a woman apologizing constantly, and then he said, you know, why does she keep apologizing? Why doesn't the person just forgive her? Oh my god, I just remember that. So that was, like, from the very beginning.
学校へも、お家へも、枕元へも。
I couldn't understand what Rena was saying.
レナのところへも来たんだよ、お社様。だからレナは転校してひなみ沢に帰ってきたの。
Yeah, so that's the thing there is, like, even if you move, you can't escape it. So there's no point. I don't understand. And maybe Satoshi actually transferred out because maybe he heard the voices too and he was trying to, like, get as far away as possible, thinking that maybe if he left Hinamizawa, he would, you know, he wouldn't have to deal with it anymore. What does transfer even mean? What was Rena saying?
圭一君のところにもお社様
See, here's the
来てるん
thing.
じゃない？
Like, at this point, if Keiichi really thinks he's about to die, he's been feeling these things, why not just admit it? Why still deny it? You know?
きっと相談に乗れるのは私だけ。圭一君を転校なんかさせないから。ね？
Ah ha 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 ha. I can't do the laugh like she can. Rena's demented laughter clanged around inside my head. Was Rena saying Oyashiro-sama came to her as well? That's right. Last night I had heard about that when I asked about Rena.
他言無用でお願いします。また内容には一部憶測も含まれているかもしれません。すべてが真実ではないかもしれないということです。よろしいですね。
Oishi-san began speaking.
被害者も学校も告訴していないので調書がないのです。つまり警察が関与してないわけなんですよ。ですから詳細は関係者からの聞き取りのみなのです。つまり信憑性が高くない。
被害者って言いましたか？レナはガラスを割っただけじゃないんですか？
いえ、男子生徒が3人ほど竜宮レナに殴られています。金属バットでです。2人はあざで済みましたが、1人は片目に後遺症を残すほどの大怪我をしたそうです。
それって傷害事件じゃないんですか？警察は逮捕とかしないんですか？
どういうわけか被害者が告発しないんですよ。警察に届け出がないので。
They were beaten with a bat and suffered significant injuries. Normally there would be a criminal investigation. But why didn't they press charges?
被害者の男子生徒3人にもそれぞれ話を聞こうとしましたが。
Okay, this is what's about to happen to me right now?
こう言ってはなんですが、怯えてるんですよ。彼女が転校した今でも。
大石さん、話を最初から整理して話してくれませんか？
Rena hit people while she broke the windows? Or was it she started breaking the windows after she got bored of hitting people? They sounded similar, but the meanings were drastically different.
暴月暴日、 竜宮レナは親しい男子生徒3人と一緒にプール倉庫のあたりで話をしていました。
その3人って何者ですか？
個人名は伏せますが、3人とも竜宮レナととても親しい仲良しグループだったそうです。彼女はこう言ってんだったんですな。
So it wasn't that strange that the four of them were together.
それでどうなったんです？
理由はわかりません。竜宮レナはプール倉庫脇にあった野球部のバットを手に取り、3人を次々に殴り倒しました。
There were no witnesses. This was an account pieced together by the information given at the time of the incident. One day after school, Rena and 3 male students were at the pool storage shed talking together. They weren't seeking help, rather they usually met up there. It appears it became a heated discussion. At that time, Rena underwent a change. The change was so abrupt that the 3 of them didn't comprehend what was happening. Then, taking the metal bat, she attacked her friends one after the other. Leaving her friends covered in blood with gashes on their heads, she made her way towards the school building. Then she broke the glass windows, one after the other. A few minutes later, a teacher appeared on scene and subdued her.
レナに起こった変化って何ですか
？3人の証言で一致するのは、突然人が変わった。豹変したという点です。
豹変。
I also could recall Rena's transformation. I'd seen that change many times before. It was so different from the usual Rena that I couldn't help but believe it was someone else who looked like Rena.
その豹変っていうのはたびたびあったことなんですか？
いえ、そういうのは全くなかったそうです。私も調べられる限り、彼女の過去や病歴等を追ってみましたが、見つけることはできませんでした。
そのレナみたいに突然人が変わる現象って結構あるんですか？
もちろんありますよ。
Oh, this is before the talk about the split personality?
精神的なものから性格的なものまでたくさんあります。
では、レナには潜在的に豹変する要素があったってことですか？
断言はできません。ですが、竜宮レナをよく知る友人たちからの証言では、とても彼女にそういう要素があるようには思えません。
Kind, caring, and adorable. Even before she transferred here, she was probably pretty popular in school like she was now. That girl transforming suddenly and assaulting them with a bat. Who could imagine such a thing? Nobody could have seen it coming. I myself sometimes believe that I was mistaken for thinking that was Rena, even now.
そしてどうなったんですか？
学校の正面が病院でしたので、3人はすぐに病院に担ぎ込まれ、手当てを受けました。
レナは、警察は、どうして警察沙汰にならなかったんですか？
警察は呼ばれなければ関与はできませんからね。
一人は後遺症を残すくらい大怪我したんじゃないんですか？どうして訴えないんです？
私もそこは引っかかりました。何かの圧力、もしくは脅迫があったのか、それとも訴えたくても訴えられない理由があったのか。
もちろん大石さんのことですから調べたんですよね。
ねえ、まあ。ですが、初めに言いましたよね。被害者たちの口がとにかく重いのです。触れたがらないというか、関わりたくないというか。
Reluctant to talk. Didn't want to touch it. Didn't want to be involved. It resembled the villagers here and Oyashiro-sama's curse.
学校の先生とかからは何も聞けなかったんですか？
学校は聖域なんですよ。隠蔽体質とでも言いますか。私も捜査令状を取ってませんから弱いんですよね。
じゃあ学校側はノーコメント？
いえ、事件の存在自体を否定しました。ですが某日、間違いなく病院に3人の男子生徒が打撲で担ぎ込まれたのは事実なんです。病院にその記録が残ってますので。
被害者は語らず、学校は否定する。何もわからないじゃないですか。
ねえ、その事件があったという事実以上のことは何もわかりません。被害者たちもこの事件が公になることを望んでいませんので、私と前原さん、私たち二人が忘れれば事件はそのまま闇に消えるでしょうな。
For a brief period, we sat in silence. At first glance, it looked like a simple assault case. But that was just the tip of the iceberg. The depths were obscured by rolling waves, sinking quietly into the void, as if it never existed to begin with.
その後、学校を謹慎で休学します。そしてその間、神経科医のカウンセリングを受けました。
その医者からは何か聞けたんですか？
これがまた職業倫理のしっかりした尊敬すべき方でしてね。口が固いんですよ。もうとにかく。
警察手帳を見せてもダメなんですか？
書面で申請しろと言われました。手帳自体に法的拘束力は何もありませんからね。
じゃあ大石さんはどうやってレナがお社様のことを告白したことを知ったんですか？
一部を聞いてた看護師さんがいましてね。この方は手帳を見せただけで協力してくださいました。
Maybe it was, what's her face? The woman that was seen with Tomitake?
それでなんと？
I mean, I know she's at the clinic in Hinamizawa, but maybe she transferred? She transferred out? And maybe that's why something happened to her here, is because she spilled the beans. Turns out that the nurse hadn't heard everything. Apparently, all she remembered was what she overheard from inside the room.
看護師さんが言うには、その時のリュウグウレナはとても淡々としていて落ち着いていたそうです。
It was more like she was confessing her sins at church than a counseling session. She spoke with her mother there for some of it, but partway through, her mother was asked to leave, so it became a private counseling session between just the doctor and Rena for a while.
例のお社様の話はどこで出てきたんですか？
途中です。その名前を突然叫んだのです。だから看護師さんもびっくりして聞き耳を立てたのです。
お社様です。
Rena suddenly shouted that. I had no idea what was said before that, so I had no idea what the meaning behind it could have been. The doctor, calmly and collectedly, asked Rena to have a seat.
そのお社様というのは何ですか？
Gently, ever so gently. A fundamental part of counseling is to be a good, patient listener.
ひなみ沢を捨てた人は必ずお社様に追われるんです。
There we go. Once again, like I said, I talked about oh, Keiichi could just move, but wouldn't do a damn thing.
とうとう私のところにも来たんです。
竜宮さんが今のお家に引っ越される前に住んでいた町ですね。
Damn, so it's just like you're trapped there. Like you have to stay there. Maybe that's why it went after Tomitake, was because, he lived in Hinamizawa and then he kept, he moved and then he'd keep coming back. But he technically abandoned it.
私は引っ越したくなかったけど、お母さんとお父さんの都合で仕方なく引っ越しました。でも、お社様は許してくれなかったんです。
竜宮さんはきっとひなみ沢にもお友達がたくさんいたんでしょうね。今でも懐かしいんじゃないですか？
帰りたい。ひなみ沢に帰りたい。帰りたいんじゃない。帰らなきゃいけない。本当はもっと早くに帰らなきゃいけなかった。でももうダメ。お社様が来てしまった。
お社様というのはそのひなみ沢の神様なんですね。
誰でも知ってるひなみ沢の守り神様なんです。それでひなみ沢を捨てて出て行こうとすると罰を当てるんです。
竜宮さんが引っ越しをされたのはもうずいぶん前ですよね。では今になってその神様がやってきた。
信じないでしょうけど、お社様はいるんです。
That nurse was then asked by another nurse to do something and left the room. That was all she remembered.
お社様がか。
確かにひなみ沢にはそういう迷信があります。 里を捨てて出ていくとお社様の罰が当たるという。この辺りは前原さんもすでにご存知ですよね。
I know very well what those scorned by the village incurred. To hinder the dam construction project, they cursed the construction foreman to his death. In the following year, Sadago's parents, supporters and leading advocates for the dam, were cursed to their death. But this was the first time I've heard of the curse incurred by leaving the village.
初耳です。村の外敵がたたられるのはわかりますが、どうして出ていく村人まで？普通、出ていく者はたたられないものじゃないんですか？
I know it's a bit strange to say it, but I could see it as a rule that the people who come in are the ones who would be cursed. Far from Jupiter, far from his thunder. Curses weren't something to chase after people that leave, were they? Oyashiro-sama was just a dick, I guess. Oishi-san pondered for a bit over on the other end of the receiver, then began speaking again.
ひなみ沢が大昔鬼ヶ淵と呼ばれていたという話はしましたよね。
I recalled hearing that. Long ago, Hinamizawa was feared and respected as the village of ogres.
麓の村人たちは鬼たちを崇めていました。で、鬼ヶ淵は神聖な土地なので絶対に不可侵。むやみに立ち入るとお社様のたたりがあるとされてきたんです。
Those who set foot in Onikakushi, in other words, Hinamizawa, would be cursed. I could understand that.
それはわかります。でも、出ていくのまでダメってのは。
鬼たちもまたですね。俗世に出ていかないようお社様に厳しく見張られていたんだとか。つまりお社様っていうのは俗世と鬼ヶ淵の交流を禁じていたんでしょうな。
I see. I finally understood what sort of thing Oyashiro-sama was.
つまり、お社様ってのは守り神ってよりも監視者なんですね。この地を外界から隔離しようとする。
そんな感じになるんでしょうな。すみません。私も詳しくないんです。この辺りはばあ様の受け売りでして。
I could understand it a bit better if it was like that. Those who came to Hinamizawa would be cursed, and those who tried to leave would also be cursed. So, because Rena originally lived in Hinamizawa and moved away, she fulfilled the requirements for being cursed.
つまり、レナは望まない引っ越しをしたため、お社様のたたりにあったと、そう話しているわけですか。
So I'm wondering, is it only people who were born in Hinamizawa that leave that get cursed? Or am I like double fucked because I'm an outsider who came in, and if I leave, then I'm technically leaving, so I'm stuck here.
要約するとそういう意味なんでしょうな。実際この後しばらくしてひなみ沢に引っ越していますから。
Those who abandoned Hinamizawa and left were cursed. But then, why only Rena? Shouldn't Rena's parents also have been guilty of the same transgression by moving away and have been cursed? Also, in this day and age in Japan, shouldn't there be a lot of people coming and going? If every single one of them was cursed, then it would be insane. But in reality, it wasn't that big of a deal at all. At most, there would be one person dying and one disappearing on the day of the Watanagashi. I don't like saying at most, though.
まあ、とにかくわからないことだらけなんですよ。お社様のたたりがどうだったにせよ、クラスメートを金属バットで殴った理由にはなりませんし、被害者が訴えない理由にもなりません。まさか前原さんも恐ろしいたたりが起こって被害者たちがすくみ上がったなんてこと信じるわけないですよね。
Of course I didn't want to believe it. But more importantly, I had just realized something else. There was another bizarre connection that Rena made between Oyashiro-sama's curse and metal bats. Satoshi fell victim to Oyashiro-sama's curse and went missing. I had recently learned that Satoshi had also become infatuated with the metal bat right before he disappeared, just like me. Then Rena as well. She was affected by Oyashiro-sama's curse. She confessed that much to the doctor. And the weapon which she had used at the time of the horrendous act was again a metal bat. And finally, me. I'd encountered various things that were inexplicable, and now I was holding on to a metal bat. I was shocked when I learned that Satoshi did the same thing. It couldn't be. Had the same thing happened to Rena? There was one critical difference between her and Satoshi's case. That being, Satoshi went missing after falling victim to the curse, but Rena was still here. Both of them had fallen victim to Oyashiro-sama's curse, yet they were met with different endings. And finally, me. I couldn't call it a coincidence anymore. Rena, Satoshi, and finally, me. Could it be that I was really under Oyashiro-sama's curse right now? No, more importantly than that, what should I do now? Satoshi had been demoned away, vanishing without a trace. Rena was fine. I was like, I don't know about that. Fine? Rena had undergone a change. I could only believe that there was something that wasn't Rena residing within her. And here, right now, it was standing before me. Sorry, he just went into his head for like 10 minutes, and she's just like, waiting. Rena stood imposingly, not answering. I had never heard such an unpleasant laugh before. It had become akin to the sound of her breathing. It was no longer a voice or an expression of feeling.
大丈夫だよ。レナが助けてあげるから。
Rena took one step forward, still holding the hatchet high above her head.
さあ。
Oh boy. One step closer, Rena's face spread out to fill my vision.
話して。
One step closer. Rena's nose was close enough to touch mine, and was still pushing closer.
話したいことがあるんだよね。レナが聞いてあげる。助けてあげるから。ね。話してね。話してね。
I slumped down, landing squarely on my butt. It wasn't for some pathetic reason. It was all I could do to get as far away from Rena. I had the gut feeling that I couldn't let her laughter end, because when the laughing ended, the moment I picked up on that feeling, my body moved by instinct. I sprang to my feet so fast, even I couldn't believe it, and pushed Rena away with both hands. Rena was as light as a feather. Thrown about by the unbalanced weight of the hatchet, she was sent backwards as if she'd been carried off by the wind. After confirming that out of the corner of my eye, I dashed off at full speed. I was the perfect picture of fleeing like a greased pig. Get away from Rena. Yeah, maybe, actually see where you're going also. Get back to civilization. Run away. Survive. I couldn't think of anything other than this. While I was running, I remembered I'd been holding on to a bat the entire time. Such a worthless weapon. I couldn't believe I'd forgotten about this weapon at such an important time. I sped even farther down the winding path. Oh, this looks like I'm heading towards the dam. I didn't even feel myself gasping for breath or my legs getting heavy. My body understood it as well. If I didn't run away from here, I wouldn't live. I could hear the laughter of that simulacrum of Rena coming from behind me. It rang through the trees and in my head and slowly chiseled away at my sanity. Ah, damn it. The groves of trees thinned out, my field of vision suddenly expanding. Where was this? For a moment I was bewildered by the scenery I felt I knew, but couldn't quite remember. I quickly realized. It was the dam site. The fact I dashed madly and ended up in a place like this gave me a bad feeling, like I was following someone's scripted plot. I had a good view of my surroundings, but I didn't see a single soul here. This was a terrible spot for someone on the run, but there was no better place for an attacker. My heart was already on the verge of bursting. The muscles in my legs were screaming, but I didn't care. If I stopped here, then they might not even be able to scream for much longer. Even still, I glanced back, looking for an excuse to rest. Rena wasn't there. Instead, I saw two villagers walking around. I breathed a sigh of relief that it wasn't Rena, but a third party. Except the voice inside me rang the alarm once again. Villagers walking around weren't suspicious in and of themselves, but it bothered me. They both wore rough-looking clothes. Empty-handed, they definitely gave the impression they were just out for a walk. But At this time of day, 2 adults wandering around without a purpose. It was enough to raise questions. Oh. But more than anything, those eyes. They weren't chit-chatting while walking. They were both silent, heading forward, looking in my direction. Was I at the end of my rope and had finally started imagining things? I should run away. That was probably the best choice. If they weren't involved, I'd lose them easily by running. If they were part of the group after me, then they would come running after me. Either way, unless I hurried up, Rena would catch up with me. It's right. I was going to run. Deciding that, the moment I began to turn tail, both of them rushed towards me as if they knew exactly what I was thinking. Somewhere inside me, I jumped to the conclusion that Rena was the only thing I needed to be afraid of. I made the assumption that I didn't need fear anything else, but right now, I realized just how blatantly wrong I was. Suddenly, the story Uishi-san told me about the demons all leaving the village to hunt prey floated through the back of my mind. I could tell they were both coming after me without even turning around because of their frenetic footsteps. It was frightening being unable to shake Grena off as she slowly closed in on me, but this didn't even compare. Being pursued with such violent ferocity, the straightforward horror was unparalleled. One of the pursuer's arms grazed my shoulders. Now it wasn't just their frenzied footsteps, but also the distinct sound of their breathing that I could hear. No, I could practically feel them breathing on me. They were already right behind me. Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. Still running at full tilt, I felt the surrounding area go still. No, it felt like time itself had stopped. I turned my head back slightly in that frozen world, realizing how close my pursuers had gotten to me. I couldn't win against the legs of an adult. In less than the time it would take to blink twice, when this frozen time began moving again, they'd be right on top of me. On top of me, and then... Don't think about that, Keiichi. First, realize you won't be able to shake them off like this. If the fact you can't get away was a given, then you need to make a decision. Go with the right leg or go with the left. You just need to decide which one. Let's go with the left. The moment I decided that, the temporal singularity burst into pieces. Right. Left. I swung the bat in a wide arc with my right arm. Using that inertia, I stopped and suddenly spun.
No!
The 2 of them were clearly startled. Momentarily losing sight of me, both of their outstretched arms, ready to grab me, instead grasped at empty space. The man on the right, I applaud him for being able to figure it out, spun around to the spot I shouldn't have been, and faced me in astonishment. But it was too late. I didn't even need to swing my bat. All I needed to do was extend my arms as I turned around. It was by no means a heavy blow, but it seemed like it had enough power behind it to knock him off his feet. Just knocking him down wasn't enough to scare him away. He got back up in no time. Both of them took a fighting stance and were ready to face me. This made me certain that they weren't just 2 people out for a walk. They were clearly after me. This is so scary! It felt much easier than dealing with Rena. Just by not recognizing their faces, by not knowing them, it made things easier. I smiled wryly on the inside. It's fine if it was just a bluff. By barking out at them, I was able to fire myself up. They didn't respond. They spread out to either side of me with unbelievably calm expressions on their faces. One of them would grab onto my bat, and the other would hold me down. Was that their plan? Taking on both of them at once would be impossible. Hot sweat poured from every pore in my body. Then I would just have to settle it with the first move. I'd step in and strike the first one down. Narrowing my target down to the man on the right who had already been knocked down before, I stepped in and swung with all my might. There was no way for an unarmed person to guard against it. It would cause immense damage. If they'd blocked it with their arm, their bone would snap like a twig. If they turned their back to it, it was possible the blow would travel all the way to their vital organs. It looked like he was aware of this. He pushed farther through the kill zone between us and delivered a fist right into my gut. Oh dang. Not good. With this distance, in this position, and in this state, there was no way for me to dodge it. The world flipped upside down. I understood I was being tossed around like a rag doll. I landed on the soft earth without a sound, feeling the grainy soil press against my face. It didn't hurt at all. But the moment I thought that, I suddenly felt pain coming from the abrasions on my skin. as well as the contents of my stomach being forced upwards, flooding my mouth with a bitter sensation. I knew very well I didn't have the time to relish this experience. I stood up as quickly as I could, but at that moment, the other man was already barreling towards me. Being able to comprehend calmly I simply couldn't dodge it made it all the more upsetting. After plowing into my stomach full force once again, my assailant twisted around behind me and locked his thick arm around my neck. My throat felt like it was being crushed by his immense strength. I can't believe this is happening, like, this went full force relatively quickly. I couldn't even contemplate that I was being strangled or that I was about to go unconscious. My vision simply darkened and a silent whining noise began playing deep inside my mind. It took everything I had to keep myself from blacking out. While this was happening, the other man was more than likely standing in front of me. I wasn't able to open my eyes, but I could feel he was there. There was nothing I could do now. Unable to shake this arm off me, I couldn't run. I couldn't fight back. Dire straits. I couldn't even come up with the phrase that adequately described my situation. Oh my god, is that it? Is that the end? Holy shit. Familiar ceiling. The smell of the bed and the pillows. I knew them well. Was this my room? Normally there wouldn't be anyone in my room besides me, but their presence made me spring wide awake. When I did that, pain shot through my entire body. Oh boy. Why was Rena in my room? Blood began to surge through my muscles and my capillaries. But Rena's smile belonged to the Rena I knew well. I knew I shouldn't let myself feel this way, but I relaxed thinking that this version of Rena was safe. My body had become more lethargic than I could have imagined. Like, maybe from the other guy's point of view, maybe they were literally just like out for a walk and then Keiichi suddenly just attacked them with a bat, so they were just restraining him and like choked him out so that he wouldn't hurt them? I guess that would be the expected outcome after exerting everything I had back there. I tried to at least clear my head, but I just couldn't shake the sluggish feeling out of my mind. I wasn't injured seriously enough to merit calling a doctor, but knowing someone impartial was coming was slightly reassuring. And I'm sure you were chasing me with a hatchet. Uh-oh. As I talked about it, I finally remembered what happened right before I passed out. Recalling that memory and the terror that went along with it caused the fogginess around my head to clear right up. Let's forget about those two for now. I didn't expect Rena to be nursing me. I thought Rena was trying to kill me. She would have had the perfect chance while I was unconscious. Not only did she not kill me, she had nursed me back to health. Looking at Rena's delicate frame, it was hard to believe she had not only gotten me back home, but even dragged me all the way up to the second floor. Did she have some help? Maybe it was those guys that I attacked, like I said. Maybe from their perspective I just went nuts and they just kind of, choked me out to subdue me, and then they felt bad and they helped bring me home. Rena appeared a bit surprised, but still kept her smile. Or not. I didn't remember. My memory was fuzzy after the point where I lost consciousness. Yes, exactly. I want to know about that. Oh, she didn't even see them? Of course. She said it bluntly. The way she stated it felt slightly unpleasant. Yeah, it's like, did she really not see them, or is she hiding something? I was just too timid at that time. I might have been able to force some answers out of Rena. But if I did that, then this kind Rena might transform into the scary Rena who I didn't know. Fearing that, I didn't press any further. Thinking about it, it was the obvious choice. If both of those men were there, I don't think Rena would have ever stood a chance. I couldn't find a way to explain it until I assumed she brought me here after those two were already gone. Rena was still smiling. Her eyes sparkled warmly. Yet, I felt like I was hallucinating when I saw something akin to a shadow slowly creeping across her face. That small omen sent shivers down my spine. I don't like that dichotomy of like the nice peaceful music with like that creepy sound effect. While Rena was still Rena, I needed to make contact. I needed to contact Uishi-san. Rena stopped me when I tried to get out of bed. She said it would aggravate my wounds, so I should sleep. She's like, and I'll watch you while you sleep. Rena couldn't say anything else. While Rena stayed in the room, I quickly went downstairs to get the phone receiver in the living room. When I approached the front door, the doorbell rang. Ding dong. Hopefully that's the doctor and not someone else coming by. It must have been the doctor Rena had called, or Mion. It was strange for a patient to welcome in the doctor who was making a house call. But it would be incredibly reassuring to have him here for the considerable time it would take Uishi-san to get here. I carelessly opened the door with that simple assumption, and regretted it almost instantly.
Mion. あれ？元気そうだね。倒れてたって言うから様子見に来たんだけど。
Really? She's gonna be smiling at me after that whole thing where I picked her up by like basically the scruff and we're like, we're not friends anymore. Really, girl? You gonna act like that didn't happen?
レナが電話してきたから。他に理由が必要？
I understood why she would call a doctor. But why Mion, too? Rena was descending the stairs behind me.
レナ、ケイちゃん大丈夫そうだよ。ったく、心配して損した。
そうだね。レナも心配して損したかな。
Oh, these are the two girls I do not want to be stuck with by myself. Where's the doctor? They both began laughing. It appeared to be cheerful laughter, but I couldn't shake the feeling that there was a darkness looming over them.
うわ、なにこの下駄箱。どうしてたの？
The shoe rack that I'd smashed to pieces had been like that since yesterday. And hopefully my parents will be home soon as well.
持ち慣れないもん振り回してるからこういうことになるんだよ。
I kept the fact it was none of her business to myself.
でもこれじゃおばさまたちが帰ってきたらびっくりしちゃうね。後でレナが片付けておくね。
さあ、ほらケイちゃん。重病人なんだからちゃんと寝てないとダメだよ。
Okay, like, is she acting like everything is okay? Or is she, like, I don't know, is she maybe thinking that something had happened to me? Like, I'm being possessed and she's just choosing to ignore it and be like, okay, that's not actually Keiichi. I'm sure Keiichi didn't mean all those mean things that he said to me, so I'm just gonna disregard that and I'm just gonna still be his friend through all of these hard times he's going through.
さあさあ、お布団に戻った。
That's the thing about this game is I don't understand where they're coming from. I don't know what their motives are, or their thinking, or what's going on at all. Both of them urged me up the stairs. I had no chance to call Uishi-san. I was pushed into my bed. As it was the first time Mion had been in my room, she began searching around it intently. She fiddled around my room and was scolded by Rena. You can imagine how it went. It was uncomfortable having my room poked around, but the conversation was so benign that it was heartwarming. During that innocent conversation, Mion said something as though it was perfectly ordinary.
レナ、監督には電話した？
うん。 みーちゃんに電話した後すぐにね。すぐ来るって言ってたよ。
The manager. The manager with a capital M. What is that about? Manager? That out-of-place word gave me a bad feeling. Rena called a doctor, then called Mion, and after that she called a manager? Who was this manager? Since Rena and Mion's conversation was so peaceful, it only felt slightly odd.
二人とも何の話をしてるんだよ。監督ってなんだよ。
Oh no.
ケイちゃん死んないの？
Oh gosh, I am like completely vulnerable and completely at their mercy.
監督って言ったら監督だよ。
映画の監督とか、工事現場の監督とか。
Oh no. Oh no. I dug through all of my memories for a manager who might have business with me. Only one thing came to mind. What Rena had just said. The construction site foreman. The very first victim of the first incident. The dismemberment at the dam construction site. The foreman. But that was strange. He was supposed to be dead. There was no way that they could call him. Oh
お前
boy.
らが何の話をしてるのかわからないよ。その監督が俺と何か関係あるのか？来るって言ったけど、うちに来るのか？
I asked one obvious question after another, but all the two of them did was smile coolly at each other. There was a huge difference between how the two of them appeared and how my suspicions were playing out. Slowly, I felt discomfort and panic welling up inside me. I couldn't understand what Rena and Mion were talking about.
ケイちゃん、最近は野球に凝ってるんだよね。監督、それ聞いたら喜ぶと思うな。
Oh boy.
だから監督って誰だよ。
Almost like he sounds like a cult leader, the manager.
監督は監督さんだよ。
だから監督って誰だよ。
Yeah, don't like that. I do not like that. Rena and Mion looked at each other and laughed haughtily. That disturbing cackle unpleasantly resounded around me. So, when is this doctor coming? Maybe, and if you capitalize it, there's a big difference between if you just say the doctor, all lowercase, and the doctor, D with a capital. Just like, that just sounds more intimidating. The doctor is coming. Who knows? Maybe he's not some impartial person. Maybe he's in with these guys and they're going to do something to me. That laugh, long enough to be unsettling, ended abruptly.
そうだ。監督が来る前に済ませとくかな。
And now it's manager with a lowercase.
ケイちゃん、覚えてるかい？
Her face was laughing, but Mion's eyes told a different story.
覚えてるって何をだよ。
ケイチ君忘れちゃったのかな。罰ゲームなんだよ。
Oh no. Oh no. I had forgotten about the penalty.
罰ゲームなんだよ。
Oh no. I was saying that jokingly, like, "Hi, they still have to give you your penalty for not doing your homework," and I totally forgot about it, but they haven't. They were just waiting for me to be completely incapacitated.
忘れちゃったのかな。おはぎの宿題。
Oh boy.
どれがレナの作ったおはぎかを当てる宿題。あれ、確か宿題忘れだったよね。
I certainly did have that homework, but I had thrown away the rest of the mochi after I found that sewing needle, so I wasn't able to answer which one Rena made. The penalty for that? Why now? No doubt my question was written all over my face. Their answer to my question was that dry laughter. I could no longer make heads or tails of anything. I began to think that this entire day was somehow insane. Yeah, just a bit. Strange. Incomprehensible. Being chased by Rena. Attacked by strange men. The penalty Mion and Rena were talking about. What were these two laughing at? It didn't take that long for me to realize I had been dragged into an abnormal situation. Who were these two? Who were these people? Who were these doppelgangers of Rena and Mion? Oh, hi. Hello, hi. Oh boy. Rena had gotten behind me at some point. Why was she pinning my arms behind my back?
何の真似だよ。
動かないでね。
Oh no.
罰ゲームだから。
Oh no. My body was already very sluggish, and Rena pinning my arms made it that much harder to move. I seriously tried to struggle, but she wouldn't even budge. My panic began to well up, and I realized this was well beyond the realm of jokes and pleasantries. This freakishly monstrous strength, it would have been impossible for the Rena that I knew. Then, these thin, frail arms grasping me firmly. Whose arms were they?
ケイちゃん、抵抗しちゃダメだよ。海賊大何条でもいいや。罰ゲームに抵抗しちゃダメなんだからさ。
Mion. No, that thing that looked like Mion spoke to me like how Mion would speak to me. But I was certain that this was not Mion. Someone who wasn't Mion. Someone who was just pretending to be Mion.
監督が来る前に済まさないとね。
Mion fished in her pockets and pulled out something bizarre. I could tell what it was just by looking, but for such a thing to be in her pocket, my mind wouldn't accept it.
なんだよ、それ。
It was a small syringe. Oh no. It was a small, clear syringe, the kind a doctor might use if you went to them with a high fever. Rena held me even tighter, and I could hear that clattering laughter that no longer sounded like laughter blaring into my ear. That eerie laughter. It wasn't something that the Rena I knew could ever produce from her own throat. This thing that was pretending to be Rena, was that their real laugh? Unable to defend myself, the syringe Mion was holding drew closer. Maybe she got it from that doctor. Like I said, maybe that doctor is working somehow with them. I don't know. And that needle tip was waved in front of my face countless times.
大丈夫大丈夫。痛くないから痛くないから。
何をする気だよ。これは一体何の真似だよ。
ケイちゃん、何言ってんだか。分かってんでしょ。
何が？俺には何が何やらさっぱりわからねえよ。
知ってるくせに。今さらかまととぶられてもな。
Well, Keiichi, I'm just saying maybe you shouldn't have blathered to Mion about all the stuff that you said you knew and everything. Just spilled the beans.
わけのわからないことを言って俺を煙に巻くのはやめろ。
富武さんと同じ目にあってもらう。
Oh, okay. Okay. The same as Tomitake-san? I didn't really understand what she meant. What did that have to do with this syringe? Oh boy, maybe it's like some sort of injects it and just makes them go into like some sort of drug-fueled panic or something? Because it talked about how he was like, oh god, what happened to him? I can't remember. Like he clawed at himself or something like that? I can't remember exactly.
ケイチ君、とぼけてるね。うすうすは気づいてたくせに。
Once again, this is the first chapter of this game. What is there? There's like at least 5 more. Like what else is there to come? Rena whispered into my ear, laughing as if to admonish me. But even the way she spoke was repulsive beyond compare. Playing dumb. Me? About what? What do you mean, the same as Tomitake-san?
みんな初めはひき逃げされたものだと思っていました。ですが意識を確かめるために近づいた警官はすぐに異常に気づきました。喉がね、引き裂かれていたんですよ。
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he scratched at his own. Oh.
ナイフとか？
That's right, his own hands.
爪でした。
Nails. Nails as in fingernails? With those gouged through? That's right. Tomitake-san had clawed out his own throat with his own nails and died. There's no way someone could die like that. So then for that to happen...
薬物を疑いましたが、
Oh
そういう
no.
類のものは検出できませんでした。
Maybe they passed through the system before they found him? That's right. Police didn't find any drugs in Tomitake-san's system.
警察は富武さんの遺体から薬物は検出できなかったって言ったぞ。
Ooh, I don't know what... Oh, that is... Yeah, someone laughing like that? Ew. The two of them laughed together with that sickening laughter. Of course they'd laugh. To assume that such a medicine didn't exist just because the police didn't know about it was completely foolish. Meaning the drug that caused Tomitake-san to die in such a bizarre manner did exist? If Mion injected this into me, then that would probably be all the proof I needed. That would basically mean I'd end up the same as Tomitake-san. Become hysterical, scratching out my throat in my last moments, then die. For such an outrageous drug to exist. For Mion to be holding it, and that I was about to be injected with it. At that moment, I did not feel there was any need whatsoever to question it. What kind of idiot, when he's trying to dodge a ball flying straight for his face, has time to think of a reason as to why it's flying at him?
観念しなって。んじゃ。
Or maybe this is a fake out to, like, make me freak out, and maybe it's just, like, water or something. I don't know. Mion's actions lacked any gravitas, and that just made it even more terrifying. There was none of the ceremony like when someone is sentenced to death. There was no hesitation at all, as if she was brushing her teeth. Mion reached out with one hand and grabbed onto my chest. It felt like electricity had run through the back of my head, and the entire world had gone dark. Did I stand up too fast? Or did someone hit me really hard in the back of the head? Having lost my sense of balance, I was assaulted by a wave of dizziness. What is happening? No, really? Okay, I know they say this every time, but is this it? Is this where it's gonna end? I squatted down for a bit. When I came back to my senses, my entire room had changed drastically. Whoa, okay. The numbness in my head was gone, and slowly, I could tell blood was flowing to my extremities again. How long had I been squatting here? How many minutes? Or has it been hours? It was almost as if the hands on the clock had stopped moving the entire time my eyes were closed. That's how little time passed. Really? The air in the room wasn't filled with that madness from before, only a dull silence. Rena wasn't there pinning my arms, and Mion wasn't there about to inject me with a needle. No way. Could it be... all of it was a hallucination? Oh, are you serious? There was no other presence in the room besides my own. It was the weirdest experience I'd ever had. Not saying something for what he's had to deal with the past few days. I was certainly with Rena and Mion. I doubted my sanity for a moment, but I was also seized with some sort of comfort. I guess that terrible ordeal was a hallucination. Neither Rena nor Mion, they would never do something so terrible. My head grew hot. I could tell my emotions were welling up. Why? That wasn't a reason to cry. Why? It was sorrow. Why was I sad? I don't understand. I don't understand. Kind to everyone, not discriminating against age or gender. Mion. That Mion was sprawled out by the window in an unnatural pose. Oh no. What? Blood stained her a deep red from her head down to her chest. The bright crimson speared all the walls. That splatter had undoubtedly come from Mion. She always had that bright smile and was kind to me from the day I transferred. Rena. Oh no, what? That same Rena was slumped at my feet and was making the same pool of blood as Mion. Oh, please tell me this is a hallucination too. Oh, did he? Maybe he, like, in the drug field, maybe he killed them? Jesus. I don't even know. I couldn't comprehend what had happened. Did someone come to save me? Then they beat those two down with this metal bat? Oh, no. I finally noticed the weight in my right hand. Oh, no. How long had it been there? No. It was Satoshi's metal bat. It was covered in a deep red. There was no doubt that this was the weapon used to mutilate both of them. This is the first chapter! How is this happening so... No. And I was holding that weapon. I was the only person in the house. Oh my god, what is happening? What? What?
俺
Looking at this objectively, I couldn't think of anyone other than myself who could have done it.
俺がやったのか
Oh shit, and he said there's people coming, there's a doctor coming, there's a manager coming. Someone's gonna find me. Someone's gonna find me. That's right. Keiichi Maibara. Of course I did it. I told myself gently, as if coaxing myself. Hey, me. There's no reason for you to remember it, nor is there a need to regret it. Eat or be eaten. You get that, don't you?
でも違う
Oh my god.
こんなに
Oh my god, this can't be happening. Neither Rena nor Mion had moved an inch. It wasn't just a split forehead and a trickle of blood. Nothing that simple. The entire room was splattered with red, and that told me it didn't end with just 2 or 3 strikes.
死んじまったのか二人とも
The depths of my mind were calm, but on the surface I was panicking and agitated. Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. What happened to your usual calm self? Come on now. Do like you always do. Throw your head back and take a deep breath. Come on. Once, twice. Breathe deeply. Calm down. Calm down. I chanted that over and over in my head and relaxed. Oh my gosh. Someone's just gonna come in and see him just sitting on the ground, just like deep breaths while he's got 2 dead people next to him. Color came back to my vision and smells reinfused the air. At the same time, I remembered what happened when I blacked out. Oh my god. Rena and Mion had attacked me. They were about to inject me with whatever caused the same symptoms as Tomitake-san. But right before that happened, I fought back. Jesus, I twisted my whole body and threw Rena as she was pinning my arms. Then I followed through with my spin and ran my foot as hard as I could into Mion's torso. It was soft. Rena tried jumping on me, so I tackled her as hard as I could and slammed her against the wall. I didn't let that brief moment of having them off balance slip by. Satoshi's bat that was left carelessly by the side of my desk. Jesus, I thought it was going to be Rena who was going to go after me, not the other way around. Bleep. At that moment, everything went pitch black. There was nothing recorded past this point in the videotape of my mind. No, that wasn't right. It wasn't that there was nothing recorded. It was recorded just fine. Just the other me inside myself had told me not to look and had turned off the TV. And there's that thing about the other me, you know, different personalities, split personalities. Is that all coming together right now? Just because the screen had gone black and I couldn't see it didn't mean that the videotape within me hadn't recorded it. And it's like the disassociation too. He's disassociating from traumatic experience, doesn't want to believe it was him, it was his other self. The TV was just off. The video was still playing. The tape within me, creaking along, still playing. On the other end of that pitch black screen, that horrifying video was still playing on. Compared to this, though, this, the scene right before my eyes, was still so difficult to take in. There was blood splattered everywhere on the walls, the 2 of them in these unnatural poses. Not a sign of movement from them. I couldn't even tell if they were breathing. No matter what the circumstances were, my friends, these girls, I had attacked them. I may have even killed them. But if I hadn't done this, I would have been the one done for. Balancing that out on an imaginary scale, it felt odd that I'd even feel bad about it. Yeah, try explaining that to other people, though. Even if it was a bit excessive, this was justifiable self-defense. The proof was all here. The 2 of them collapsed here, and Mion's syringe. Mion's syringe filled with some unknown drug would certainly solve the mystery surrounding the incident with Tomitake-san. And from the fact that both of these 2 were involved, they'd be able to pick out the criminals one after the other. Still, I might be suspected for this. Yeah, you wonder, they're in your room, you got the bat. Like, yeah, I think you're gonna be the #1 suspect. But that was just fine. Anyway, now this should be a police affair. And he's just so detached from it. He's just going through it like, just so methodical, so just like robotic. This wouldn't fade into the darkness like Rena's past incidents. As long as the police were involved, that should bring this to a close. They'll probably revisit the investigation on the chain of incidents. Uishi-san would definitely get to the bottom of it. Meaning my wish of not wanting to die, of wanting to know the truth, that would be fulfilled in its most basic form. It was all a matter of time now. The doctor Rena called should be getting here soon. I'll confess everything to him. I needed to contact Uishi-san. Jesus, he just like that, he's just like, alright, doctor should come soon, I gotta call the cops. He's just like going down a checklist. At that moment I remembered. Besides the doctor, a manager had been called. It was easy to imagine that they were someone deeply involved with the incidents, judging from Rena and Mion's conversation. The ache in my chest, caused by the gruesome deed I'd done, dissipated rapidly. It was not over yet. This place was no longer safe. Stay calm, Keiichi Maibara. God, imagine his parents walking in at some point during this. It's not over yet. I needed to live long enough to tell the police of this incident. At that moment, I felt like I heard someone's voice from outside. Since people were speaking, it must mean there was more than one person. I moved the curtain ever so slightly and peered outside. It was a bizarre sight. About 4 or 5 grown men were all gathered at the gate. They very much resembled the 2 men who had assaulted me at the dam site today. Those 2 might even be among them. There was one person there wearing a white coat, but he didn't look like a doctor at all. My gut told me he was in disguise, only posing as a doctor. That guy would probably ring the doorbell and get me to open the front door. Pretended to be a doctor to get me to open the door, and then the rest of them would all rush in at once. At that moment I saw the car parked behind the men, and my heart nearly skipped a beat. The white van! No mistaking it. That van, the one that had tried to run me down? The man in the white coat entered the gate and headed toward the front door. The rest of the men hid in the bushes and watched him. I probably couldn't pretend I wasn't home. Undoubtedly, they just break a window and enter. I needed to get out of here somehow. Then use a public phone to contact Uishi-san. Then meet up somewhere. First of all, I need a weapon. Then shoes. But before all that, there was one thing I had to do. I had no intention of dying. I'd live and reveal the truth about this nonsensical curse of Oyashiro-sama. But what would happen from here on, regardless of how determined I was, may bring about my demise. And that was why. There was one thing more important than getting out of here right now. I need to get that clock out quickly and take down the note hidden behind it. Damn it. The tape was sticking to it fast. It'd be fine if it was torn a little. I opened up the slightly torn note and began writing another passage with a ballpoint pen. If I wasn't able to inform Oishi-san, then the only thing I could rely on was this note. I'd never thought a piece of torn, college-ruled notebook paper could be this reliable before. I had no time. I'd only write what I knew right now. I needed to leave some sort of information that would lead them to uncover the truth. Rena and Mion are conspirators of the perpetrators. Oh my god, that just makes him sound like a lunatic. Maybe that white van is to take him off to the crazy house. Like, they're like, this kid has been acting really weird. Maybe those guys went and be like, hey, so that new kid just attacked us out of nowhere, and it's the doctor coming to, like, take him to get evaluated. This was an undeniable fact. I still didn't want to believe it. But it was a fact. Anyway, I'd leave all the information that would help lead them to finding the perpetrators. There are 4 or 5 adults, maybe more. They have a white van. This was everything I was able to see from the window. There may be more. Also, there was that unidentified person known as the manager. To begin with, the term manager didn't even mesh with Hinamizawa at all. If they were going to include the managers from the past incidents, then the only one is a construction foreman, the victim from the first murder. The very first victim in the chain of incidents. Killed in a lynching, his body divided into 6 pieces. His right arm was never discovered. The police should have confirmed that death. But Rena and Mion did call him manager. They said manager. They wouldn't use that term to refer to someone who was dead. The police would never even conceive that someone who was deceased could be involved. Could that be some sort of oversight? I didn't know. But even if I didn't know, it could be a big hint for Oishi-san. That's right. They needed to start fresh from the first incident. It wasn't just a simple dismemberment, but the start of the string of mysterious deaths that would follow. So then, there must be something hidden there. Please reinvestigate the victim from the dismemberment incident. He's alive. His death should have been established after an autopsy. Logically, you would think as much. Could it have been some sort of ploy that they were able to deceive the police with? I shouldn't jump to conclusions, but he may still be alive. I had no time to ponder that right now. Oh yeah, there's something even more important I needed to write. Tomoitake-san's death was from an unknown drug. That's right, that drug. It was an irreplaceable piece of evidence. No doubt, just by having this, everything would be uncovered. I couldn't just leave that vital clue lying on the floor. This syringe is proof. Writing that down, I stuck the syringe onto the back of the clock with plenty of tape, so it absolutely would not slip out and fall into the floor. Firmly, firmly. The bell rang. They were here. I couldn't write anymore, but even still, there was one last thing that I had to write. I have no idea why it has become like this. This may be the closest thing to the truth out of everything I wrote on this note. If you are reading this, then I am probably already dead, though you may or may not find my body. If I was going to write out everything that could happen, either dying from the curse, or being demoned away, you who are reading this, please uncover the truth. That is my only desire. With this, my last will and testament was complete. It wasn't certain I was going to die, but it was my final plea, just in case. I folded the note, stuck it back onto the back of the clock, and returned the clock back to its usual spot. I couldn't help but pray. Uishi-san, if something happens to me, I leave the rest to you. After that, I gazed down silently at Rena and Mion. This was probably the last time we'd ever see each other. Rena, Mion.
俺、みんなのこと、本当に友達だと思ってたんだぜ。
But why did it end up like this? I never had any fun in my previous school. I only worried about standardized test scores, about if the school I hoped to get into was where I really wanted to go or a safety net. That was all I talked about. It was a dull life. The people I called friends were also my rivals in studying, in competitions, in personal records, and standardized test scores. Everyone here taught me how unhealthy that lifestyle was. This month was really fun. Making a fuss over lunch, making a fuss over the club, making a fuss over the festival. This is crazy that all of this happened in the span of a month. Something hot began dripping from my face. Uncontrollable tears. I should have had no obligation to shed tears for them. But they wouldn't stop. Even if they were after my life, even if they were trying to kill me, everything that happened this month, I wouldn't forget it. Oh my gosh, is he just going to be on the run now for like the next chapter? And then maybe he'll die and then we'll take over as Oishi-san and try and like investigate what happened? Or could it be those happy days were all a facade as well? Was it all a trap, meticulously orchestrated up until today to ensnare me? Could it have been that I just arbitrarily assumed that they were my friends? That couldn't have been the case. Both Rena and Mion, they really were my friends. Those happy days, there was nothing fake or unclear about them. Someone probably forced them to try and kill me. Or their minds were taken over, possessed by the supernatural entity known as Oyashiro-sama. Regardless, both Rena and Mion, they were the best friends ever. And when they were coming after me, it wasn't of their own volition. I realized too, like, we haven't, like, Sadako and Rika have just kind of been in the background for quite a while too. I wonder what's going on with them. But they weren't the kind of people to sell off their friends, no matter what means were employed to force them. And there was no way such a thing as being possessed by Oyashiro-sama could happen in reality. Then did the real Rena and Mion come after me? What was I thinking? What a silly, dumb idea. Having beaten down both Rena and Mion, I was still debating if they were the real ones or fakes. There was no real or fake, only the reality that was before me. Rena and Mion were sprawled out at my feet. That was the only truth. I was only trying to twist the facts to my benefit, that I had beaten my friends to death. No matter how I spun it, it wouldn't change reality. Rena and Mion were both dead. It felt like there was a crack in the dam of strange emotions I was holding back. It felt like my calm state, which was nothing more than a bluff, had receded, and in that opening, insanity was leaking out. I killed them. I killed them. Rena and Mion. I killed them. The doorbell rang again. The unrelenting echo pulled me back into a state of composure once again. I didn't have a moment to spare. Well, apparently he had a lot of moments to spare because he was just standing there just in his head for who knows how long. Quickly, I needed to get away. I didn't want to die. I would uncover everything after that. The identity of whoever or whatever had pushed me this far. Even if I had to drink mud and eat grass, I would survive. I would survive. I would definitely survive. I killed Rena for that very reason. I also killed Mion. I went that far just to keep living. So I can't die. For my sake and for the sake of the late Rena and Mion. I have to survive. I ran towards the door and grabbed my shoes. The doorbell rang again, as if to urge me on. Behind the single solitary door, they were there. Keeping quiet, I headed towards the kitchen. Headed towards the back door. Before opening the back door, I put my ear to it and checked for people outside. No one? After I put on my shoes, I opened the door slowly so as not to make a sound. Oh! A piercing voice echoed out. That voice stabbed through me, setting my hair on end. I had to run. Get out of here, Keiichi. One after the other, I felt stuff like rationale and intelligence, those things you use when you have time to spare, spill out of me. I didn't feel any pain from the branches scratching my arms and forehead. My autonomously pulsing heart also felt neither fatigue nor pain. My entire being just wished to live. There was nothing else it desired. It probably had no complaints whatsoever, so of course I wouldn't feel fatigue. I just ran, just recklessly rushing in the direction I was already heading. Even if nobody was chasing after me, I'd still be running like this. There wasn't a thought in my mind about where I was headed. Turning around, I felt a presence right next to me. That presence was, without a doubt, chasing me like my shadow. If I took even one misstep, I would be devoured. That's what I thought. So I didn't turn around. I didn't stop. I ran. At full speed. The chirping of the Higurashi was telling me it was evening. Trying to tell me something, and then I finally heard it. The wailing cry of the victims who didn't make it. Would I be joining them? Qua, 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 qua. Only the Higurashi knew. They knew everything. They definitely knew. Yeah, he's lost it. So I ran towards where I could hear more of the Higurashi's chirps. Maybe it's the Higurashi this whole time. They're controlling the town with their hypnotic chirping. But the farther I ran, the farther away their chirping became. I couldn't get near them. Why are you all running away? Was it my fault? Was I the one to blame? Then I'll apologize. I'm sorry. 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 Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I felt that only the Higurashi knew. Oh my gosh, and yet it continues. Wow. The smoking room was filled with a cloud of cigarette smoke. The expensive smoke filter gave off some crackling electric noise, but it didn't seem like it was doing anything at all. Why do smokers have to be shoved so far down this corridor when the sun doesn't even reach? I recalled hearing that the tax revenue from tobacco was about a tenth of the municipality's revenue. We were the most heavily taxed members of this municipality, so I really wish they'd show us a little more respect. Yeah, this is definitely not Keiichi talking about, like, taxes. One of the younger detectives was having a staring contest with the mahjong magazine called Next Turn.
Kuma
ちゃん、川を見てください。ウーマンは全員切ってますから安牌なんですよ。終盤で K 点に走った誰かがダマで待ってたら嫌でしょ。
The kid let out another groan, put out a cigarette, then took out another one.
納得いかないっすね。 わざわざ自分で当たり牌減らすなんて。
ちなみに配定で当たり牌出しても論しちゃダメですよ。
どうしてですか？
Just then, I heard a voice coming from down the hall.
大石さん、いますか？一般の方から凱旋です。
ありゃ、こりゃどうも。それじゃ、ちょいと失礼。
どうして論しちゃダメなんすか？ああ、待ってくださいよ、大石さん。
The man sitting in the seat Uishi-san was heading towards waved at the telephone receiver.
凱旋です。講習から。
ああ、どうもすいません。お待たせしました。大石です。もしもし。
大石さんですか？もしもし。
前原さんじゃありませんか。どうもどうも、こんにちは。
Oh, Ishi, I have some things to tell you. From the tone in Maebara-kun's voice, I already knew he was in a predicament. This was the first time Maebara-kun had phoned me. And he was calling from a payphone.
落ち着いてください。何がありました？
His voice was erratic over the line. He had completely lost his sense of composure. After checking that nobody else could hear, I prompted him in a hushed tone.
何があったんです？落ち着いて、前原さん。今そこに近場の警官を行かせます。私もすぐそっちに行きますよ。
多分無理です。
His voice was quivering and hoarse. He wasn't surrounded by people even as he was making this call, was he? Oh no.
前原さんは今公衆電話からかけてますよね。どこの公衆電話ですか？
There was no other sounds beside Maebara-kun's voice. It had to be a phone booth. I scratched out a note and thrust it at my colleague sitting across from me. Hinamizawa, phone booth. He understood quickly and hastily started on the internal lines.
落ち着いて、前原さん。今どういう状況なんです？
It was best practice to avoid flustering someone panicking, but this was an urgent case. Maebara-kun didn't just get in trouble, get away, then call me. He was in the midst of something dangerous right now. But yelling at Maebara-kun right now would just needlessly cause him to become even more frantic. Maebara-kun wasn't just calling to seek help. He was trying to tell us something more than that. And whatever that was, if I didn't get it from this call, I was certain there would never be another chance. My colleague pushed a note in front of me. There's only one booth in Hinamizawa. A patrol car is on the way. 5 minutes.
かかりすぎです。警らには何人乗ってます？2
人です。
Not enough. If it was as I imagined, there were likely quite a few people surrounding Maebara-kun. 5 minutes was too long.
南沢の駐在さんには電話しました。
定時巡回の時間です。家人は留守で連絡不能。
そう。熊ちゃん、車を回してください。
And who's to say that the police aren't part of all this, right? Like, maybe it's an internal, like, Hinamizawa, he's, you know, who's to say they're not all in bed together, right?
もしもし、大石さん。
Oh.
もしもし。
Oh no.
大丈夫です。ちゃんと聞こえてますよ。
There was something wrong with Maebara-kun. That wasn't a normal coughing sound. Oh no, did he get, like, stabbed or something? Vomiting? Or was it blood? Had he already been attacked? Was he injured? Oh no.
前原さん、今そこに警官が向かってます。2、3分で到着しますから何とか持ちこたえてください。もしもし、聞こえてますか？前原さん。
I could hear on the other end of the line that he was having a coughing fit. The worst possible situation popped into my head.
前原さん、犯人は誰です？何人なんです？
俺も最初は人間が犯人なんだと思います。
I couldn't tell if it was a cough or vomiting.
大丈夫ですか？前原さん。
犯人は人間
Oh my gosh.
親代様のたたりなんかないんだって。
Oh no, is he about to like claw out his throat or something?
ついさっきまで。だけど、やっぱ
Oh
り。
my gosh. It was an intense bout of coughing, then vomiting.
やっぱり、親代様ってのは、いや、います、今。
前原さん、どうか落ち着いて。
なんかさっきからおかしいと思ってたんです。ずーっとつけてくるんですよ。走っても走っても走っても走っても影みたいにぴったりくっついて、だけど少しずつ俺の背中ににじり寄ってくるんです。
前原さん、そいつは今ひょっとして前原さんの後ろに
すぐ後ろに。
お願いです、前原さん。怖いのはわかります。ですが、あなたの後ろに誰がいるんです？
振り向けるわけないじゃないですか。振り向いたら俺
怖いのはわかります。でも教えてほしい。ちょっと振り返るだけでいいんです。
Oh my god, is he about to die right now? Like...
前原さんの後ろに誰がいるんです？
Like, is each... Oh my gosh, I don't even know. I was like, is each chapter gonna follow different people? This just seems like too much to be happening in the first chapter. Right after I said that, I could hear him vomiting intensely. What followed was a nightmarish sound.
前原さん、あんたまさか喉を引っかいてた
Oh no.
しないでしょうね。
There was no answer, but I could hear something like scratching. Oh my god. There was a bang, as if something was being hit. My Barukan had probably dropped the receiver. I could hear groaning and vomiting over on the other end, and a repeating, abnormal noise.
もしもし、もしもし、前原さん、もしもーし。
I knew how far away my voice would sound on the other end, but I couldn't help but shout. At that moment, I heard whispering coming from the other end. I couldn't tell what he was saying. From the way he was saying it, was he talking to himself? Or was he talking to someone there?
もしもし、前原さん。
Rather than whispering, it was some kind of mantra he was chanting over and over. Oh, is it? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I focused my senses, trying to pick up on what he was saying. What was he repeating? What exactly? Beep. Suddenly the line went dead. Did he use up his time? It was because it was a payphone. It was because it cut out so abruptly. The last thing he said came out so clearly in my mind.
おいさん、車は OK っす。おいさん。
ごめんなさい。
Oh.
おいさん。
That's what he was repeating over and over. He said, I'm sorry. I had a gut feeling. There was no longer a need to hurry. Oh my god. I could hear the chirp of the Higurashi spilling in from the open window. I should have been able to hear them this entire time. I just wasn't paying any attention. Why did I focus on them all of a sudden? Were they trying to tell me something? Only the Higurashi knew. That's how I felt. Holy shit. Oh my god. No way. So they're all dead. Is that what just happened? June 1983. In Hinamizawa, a remote village near Ch.1 City, there was a murder involving 2 female students. The suspect is Keiichi Maibara. Oh my god. The suspect called over his 2 female classmates, Rena Ryugu, Mion Sonozaki, to his house and beat them to death with a metal bat. The scene of the crime was the suspect's room on the 2nd floor of his house. The inside of the room was covered with a significant quantity of splattered blood, and there were signs of a struggle with the victims. In addition to the scenes of the crime, the entryway, living room, and kitchen all had traces of a struggle. Oh my gosh. At the entryway, the shoe rack and wall had evidence of being impacted by a strong blunt force. It is believed to have been the same bat as the murder weapon. Having no traces of blood, it is believed the destruction occurred before the murders. There's the possibility that the suspect overpowered his victims to keep them from fleeing. In the living room, the rug had been pulled back, then thrown aside. It's hard to believe that this had a connection to the struggle with the victims, and thus the reason for this remains unknown. In the kitchen, the garbage bag was torn apart, and its contents were spread out on the floor. Garbage was strewn about in the surrounding area, and handprints believed to belong to the suspect were discovered. It's believed the suspect had for some reason taken out the garbage and struck it with his fists, So it just makes him look like he's crazy, which, I mean, maybe he is. Still don't know. The reason for this remains unknown. In addition, there was a note stuck to the fridge. The words, "Was there a needle?" were written on it. Oh, did they find the note? Did they find the note in the clock, is what I want to know. The meaning behind this remains unclear. Just in case, the garbage was searched, but a needle was not discovered. Though the garbage door was functional, it had been left open ever since the suspect moved in. The garage door was found closed. The suspect's fingerprints were discovered on the garage door. The reason behind this remains unknown. The suspect fled the scene of the crime. However, a patrolling officer, Hinamizawa Local PD, found the suspect collapsed inside a phone booth. At the time of discovery, the suspect was unconscious and in critical condition. He was rushed to local hospital. Oh my gosh. Local hospital for treatment, but did not regain consciousness and died 24 hours later. Oh my god. The result of the autopsy indicate that the immediate cause of death to have been hypovolemic shock. It was determined that the suspect had clawed at his own throat with his fingernails, and the resulting bleeding caused his death. With a similarity to the death of Tomitake-san the prior week, police believe there to be a connection and have opened an investigation. However, due to the wishes of the local authorities, it will be a confidential investigation. I thought this whole thing was going to be like in the span of a year, we were going to try and figure out what was going on, and then boom, first episode, nope, Ren is dead, Mion's dead, main character's dead, what the hell. Due to the abnormal nature of the death, it was suspected that drugs were involved, but as with Tomitake-san, no traces were discovered. What prompted all this remains inexplicable. As such, this case is being treated as an act committed on impulse. However, with several accounts of the suspect's bizarre behavior leading up to the incident, it is possible that this was premeditated. Separated from his group of friends, isolation, inexplicable behavior. Several days before the incident, the suspect began carrying around a metal bat. The suspect was observed displaying aggressive behavior, as well as talking to himself at school. His classmates have actually heard portions of what he was saying. 2 days before the incident, the suspect declared to his parents the possibility of his death. Due to these circumstances, the police have begun an investigation on the possibility that this crime was not committed on impulse, but was instead planned several days in advance. Oh, they found it. Afterwards, a note was found in the suspect's room that he had written himself. The note was written on 2 sheets from a B5 College World notebook that had been torn in half, as if trying to conceal it. It was stuck hidden behind a clock on the wall. The contents are as written in the appendix. The police believe it to be strongly related to the incident. The police changed their line of investigation based on the possibility that the suspect was involved in some sort of incident himself. However, no further clues were found, casting doubt on the credibility of the note. Was this crime impulsive or premeditated? With the situation unclear and no further developments, the case has been labeled as unresolved. However, the following year, suspicion arose regarding the nature of the note. The note was not written on 2 halves of B5 paper from 2 separate sheets, but was originally a single sheet of B5 paper. In order to erase several lines from the middle, someone had torn them out. Oh, judging from the size of the letters, the missing section is estimated to be 2 to 3 lines. It is highly probable that the person who eliminated the lines in question is not the suspect. In addition, judging from traces of large quantities of cellophane tape being stuck to the back of the clock, speculation that something other than the note was stuck there has arisen. Oh, they took away the syringe. I wonder if it was the cops. Maybe the cops were trying to conceal something. The person who first discovered the crime was a detective rumored to have connection with the incident. Kurado Oishi. Oh, I wonder if he took them because he wanted to keep them for himself to do an investigation, or if he's hiding something himself. He underwent voluntary questioning, but denies involvement in any damage to the note. The suspect's note. I, Keiichi Maibara, am in fear for my life. I do not know why they are after my life. The only thing I do know is that it has to do with Orishiro-sama's curse. Rena and Mion are conspirators of the perpetrators. There are 4 or 5 adults, maybe more. They have a white van. This is all on the first sheet. The section below has been ripped out. This is from the second sheet. The section above is what has been ripped out. I have no idea why it has become like this. If you are reading this, then I am probably already dead. Though you may or may not find my body. You who are reading this, please uncover the truth. That is my only desire. Keiichi Maibara. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember. What are the parts? Wow, damn. I was like, what were the parts that were ripped out? Did we not get to... I'm like in shock right now. Wow. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Oh my gosh. Okay, so first impressions, holy shit. Definitely not where I thought that was gonna go. Yeah, I can't even really process this right now. Obviously, I am very intrigued to find out where the story is gonna go from here. That is not where I thought it was gonna go. Like I said, I thought it was gonna be like Rena, Mion, Keiichi. I definitely thought they were going to last past the first chapter, and I assumed, you know, it was going to lead up to the next Watanagashi, and Keiichi was going to try and figure out what was happening, and then that just kind of took a turn. Yeah, holy crap, guys. Yeah, I love this. You can obviously tell I'm super into the story, and I love this kind of psychological, slow burn kind of stories like this, these mysteries. So obviously I'm definitely going to be doing the next chapter, and there was an unlockable extra thing there. So maybe what I'll do is, because this is going to be very long, is I will release, you know, this final part, and then I'll do like a separate like little episode and do that little extra chapter there, depending on how long it is. Maybe I can get that all into one episode, and maybe I'll release that. Since this comes out on a Friday, maybe I'll release that chapter maybe like next Tuesday or Wednesday. So keep an eye out for that, and then we'll go on with chapter 2. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. Most of you guys who are watching this have already experienced this before. But for those of you who are watching who are newbies to it like I am, what are your reactions to that? What did you think of the ending? I am speechless. Yeah, I don't know much more what to say, other than I can't wait to get into where the story is going to take us next. So thank you guys so much for watching this first part of Higurashi, and I will be doing chapter 2 probably next Friday. Just keep right up with it. So once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!